Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 22 Driver Career Mode for Season 2, episode number 23 today. If you missed the previous episode at Abu Dhabi, the season finale, I recommend you go and check that out. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more F1 22 Driver Career Mode videos. But if you missed that last episode, then spoiler alert, we signed for AlphaTauri for Season 2. Christian Horner, there was an email at the end of the last episode wanting us to turn this team into a solid midfield team as well. Calendar, we're going to go for 16 races, so we're going to get rid of 6 races. Miami being the first one of those. Terrible track, to be honest, and didn't enjoy it as well. Even without, bearing in mind they fixed a few of the issues, it's still not a great track to be racing at. Same with France. Paul Ricard, not a fan favourite, to be honest. Zandvoort as well has been booted off our calendar because even though it wasn't supposed to be a traction track, it felt like the AI was still very fast around there. And it's I've taken out USA. We could have kept USA, Singapore and Japan, to be honest, in a slightly larger calendar, but we only got the option of 16, so it's going to be Singapore that makes way for Mexico. We might, alter about with the calendar, but that's the advantage of having 16. We can alter up and change it from season to season to bring in some of the other tracks. Unfortunately, can't bring in Portugal though, as well. R&D wise, we only lost 2 upgrades for AlphaTauri in the end regulation changes. That's good. So we have got a few that we need to look at. Already going to have a look at drag reduction, which is a 25% discount. Thought about rushing it for Jeddah, but it's a 45% failure chance. I'd rather not risk it. So let's reveal our livery. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 2, and yes, Season 2 has got very interesting. Red Bull, because Max Verstappen has been booted out of Red Bull and has been replaced by the reigning world champion Charles Leclerc, who will be partnered by Sergio Perez. So that is a big move at the top here, as well. Red Bull clearly offering Leclerc a way to escape from the Ferrari madness that went on in the end. He had a very good start to the season, but then fell off through the middle, came back through the end to secure his first world championship in this career mode. Obviously, Honda are back on the car as well. Just a little mention to mirror a little bit what potentially could happen in real life, as we rate the arrival of Porsche in their expected collaboration with Red Bull as well. But yes, they didn't win, so you'll notice that they've lost a few sponsors, but they have still been able to. Honda, back on the car, and there's a sponsorship deal in that alone, which should be able to make up for them. Ferrari are next, and well, could they have taken Verstappen? Perhaps. Did they take Verstappen? Absolutely not. They decided instead to call up very last minute, because they couldn't agree any deal with any other driver. But Ferrari have back at the team Sebastian Vettel to partner Carlos Sainz. So Vettel, it's his swan song in terms of this game, because he's obviously not going to be on next year's career mode. So we're going to give him an absolute send off, and hopefully he can take Ferrari to that next level alongside Carlos Sainz. You notice Casio is the big sponsor for that team, one of Vettel's old sponsors from his Red Bull days, been brought back to life there. Alpine Now I'm going to talk about Alpine because they've had a very big winter, because they've signed Max Verstappen, and it's quite a big name to sign, which might explain their second driver. But I'm going to talk quickly about the livery. You guys, when I did the fancy livery, you seemed to love the pink Alpine livery, and subsequently that's what we're going to be running for in Season 2, a version of that livery with some sponsors. Of course, they still got BWT sponsorship, but obviously Verstappen is expecting those higher wages, and to pay for those higher wages, Verstappen is joined by Nicholas Latifi. So Ocon has, we knew Fernando Alonso retired at the end of Season 1, and Ocon has been booted out of Alpine and he's no longer on the grid for Season 2. So there's only one Frenchman left. So in an all-French team, they haven't actually got any French drivers anymore. Mercedes are next, and to be honest, Mercedes, it's been a difficult time for them over the winter with the loss of Toto Wolff, and it's shown on the car's sponsorship because Petronas have walked. TeamViewer are the new title sponsor for the team on a 1-year deal, but it's not looking good for a team that did manage to win a few races with Russell. I think, did Hamilton win one? I can't quite remember. Through Season 1 there were so many races. Nevertheless, with Wolff gone, and also rumours coming out of the factory that their Season 2 car isn't going to be as good as their Season 1 car, starting on the back foot out of the new regulation changes, it's already looking quite bad for Mercedes. TeamViewer are paying a fraction of what Petronas were playing to be their title sponsor as well. So that team needs a bit of resurgence, really. Whether or not they can get that throughout the second half of the season, should there be? Well, I'll take a look at the R&D tree in a moment. In a moment, to find out how far they've fallen. McLaren are next, and McLaren have some big changes because Google have increased their sponsorship stake in this team, based off the fact that Lando Norris actually won a race last season in Season 1. Now, whether or not he'll be able to repeat that in Season 2 is yet to be seen, but McLaren looked good with Norris. They look terrible with Ricciardo. Now, Ricciardo is still at the team, unlike in real life, where he's getting booted out, so they've not got Piastri up yet. Whether or not they will look to replace Ricciardo, especially the fact surely his focus is so low after having disappointing time in Season 1, not getting anywhere near a podium at all, and even beaten by myself on multiple occasions in a Williams car, wasn't that great. And that brings us on to our team, AlphaTauri. For us, we're looking to have a good season, get consistent points with myself and my teammate Pierre Gasly, so Tsunoda makes way for myself at AlphaTauri, and to take it to the next level, to the likes of, well, probably Mercedes now, maybe Alpine and McLaren on the grid, depending on how the grid shake-up is there. But yes, you'll notice, of course, as is customary with these career modes, that we bring back Magnus as a sponsor, so you'll see that on the car, drink responsibly. One of the most annoying things is the Honda logo, which beautifully fits on the back. Unfortunately, it's a bit splurged on the front wing, so you won't be seeing a lot of the front wing. I'm going to be honest. You can see it's sort of been broken up, which is very frustrating. That they're just copy and pasting the same logo here, there, and everywhere. I've got no choice in the matter in terms of that. Aston Martin, obviously losing Vettel for them was a little bit disappointing, but they have gained Valtteri Bottas from Alfa Romeo, so that's a big win for them. The car was dreadful, to be honest, through season 1, so I'm not expecting too much throughout season 2 from that team. I did try to have a look and replace the colour with a British Racing green. It just didn't look right, so that's something to look at. Maybe we'll go for a fluorescent yellow with the green sparks for season 3. I don't know about that, but yes, obviously they're losing sponsors. They gained a few sponsors and lost a few sponsors due to the fact that, you know, they're not able to make those big games up the grid that they say they want to in real life. Williams, my old team, it's a straight swap between myself and AlphaTauri. So Red Bull are now a sponsor of Williams because they've now got 2 contracted drivers at Williams in the form of Albon and Yuki Tsunoda as well. That's going to be an interesting partnership at that team to see who can perform best out of those two. Potentially, if we leave the team, then, you know, there's a stop back at AlphaTauri for one of those two as well, should we get that promotion that we want in season 3. So, you know, Red Bull on the rear wing, gone for white instead of the red, and, you know, promoted the lighter blue as well on the car, because I don't think the red actually goes very well on the Williams car personally as well. But yes, Alfa Romeo, I wanted to put the Italian flag livery. Turns out I can't because it's just a pixel, 2-3 pixels of paint in the file, so that's a little bit frustrating. They have replaced, now, you know, they had a very good car, but Zhou Guanyu wasn't that great, to be honest. But he's still there at the team, and it's a bit of a risk for that team because, you know, Bottas was scoring points consistently throughout that season. Unfortunately, they've replaced Bottas with Robert Schwartzman as well in it, making his rookie debut. Now, obviously, Schwartzman is a Ferrari junior, or was in real life. So that's, you know, Ferrari increasing their little bit of a stake in the team, but they're not really having that performance that they want. And Haas, I haven't done anything to Haas because they've got I didn't realise that they've got even fewer sponsors slots than you actually think they have in real life. So I haven't done anything to them, and their lineup hasn't changed either. So they've still got Schumacher and Magnussen alongside.
Hey, welcome to the team. Good to finally meet you. I'm Max. I'm the head of R&D here. I've been following your career closely, and I have to say I'm a huge fan. I think we're going to get on great. This is your machine. From here you can track your performance, look into R&D upgrades and much more. Let me know if you run into any problems.
So, R&D wise, maybe that's why Verstappen moved to Alpine, because they are right behind Red Bull in terms of the R&D tree. Mercedes, that's a huge drop for them, and going the second fastest team in the grid to the 6th fastest team. But you can see how close it is. Everyone is separated by 100, and yes, you've got that little gap between that covers the bottom 3 team, Haas, Williams and Aston Martin. But you know, for them, there's still a couple of upgrades and they're right back in the midfield. So it's all to play for as we move to qualifying at Bahrain. Never a great track for me on season 1 because we failed miserably. But I've reworked the setup since then. We're actually P10 going into this opening qualifying session of the season. First time in anger in this AlphaTauri car. It's not a great start to the lap, actually slightly down on our previous best time. I've just been out qualified by Kevin Magnussen You see how close it is. You know, anyone who's if you make one mistake in this early part of the career mode where the teams are that close, then that's the difference between maybe a 5th place start and the 20th place start potentially, as well. So slightly behind him besides, who needs to improve. Gasly's still behind him, but he's ahead of us on the road. 3.5 tenth improvement from myself as more and more people start. There is Gasly, only P10, expecting a little bit better from our teammate there, as Lando Norris goes fastest of all. McLaren weren't even up there. They were like 4th fastest on the grid in terms of R&D. That just shows it might also be a track to track dependent, where our cars are strongest in terms of that. We're 10th and a bit up on Latifi in the Alpine car, 3.5 tenths up on a bit to that, but not a great exit out of that corner. But we do then gain a little bit down to the final corner, almost 4 tenths up. Nice final corner, gaining 0.5 tenth as well. Up to the line then to see if we can get into the top 10. Yes, we can, and I think that is P10. Yes, it is. So good start. And we're trying to improve on that as we move through the race. Gasly actually P11, so exactly where we want Gasly to be, right behind us or with Gasly in terms of qualifying and race. And as well, Leclerc slightly down on Norris, who takes his can't remember if he's taken pole before in this career mode. Obviously he's taken pole in real life before the Russian Grand Prix. Leclerc, Ferrari, Sainz, we're happy with that. Verstappen will be a little bit disappointed, but 2 tenths down, he can definitely work with that. Vettel as well, also disappointed, as is Ricciardo and Perez, setting at exactly the same time as well. And then down at the bottom, there's lots of room to improve, the likes of Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo as well, with their, the 5th fastest team on the grid, and they're qualified 14th and 19th. So not great for them, but it is looking like a good start for us. So we'll see what we can do from 10th on the grid, time for the race.
Months of rumour and speculation all comes to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Verstappen, George Russell and Vettel, Ricciardo, Perez, Hamilton and Phoenix, Gasly, Latifi, Kevin Magnussen and Joe, Albon, Tsunoda, Valtteri Bottas and Mick Schumacher. Schwartzman and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
So we are down the grid in P10. Race strategy is going to be a one-stop from soft to medium, medium to soft, which we have been looking at. Is actually slightly slower as well. So they might need a tyre upgrade on this AlphaTauri to bring that into play. So 5 red lights then to the start of season 2, Bahrain Grand Prix. And away we go, and it's a good start for Hamilton, who jumps Perez off the start. Gasly's going to pull alongside. We're going to defend from Gasly, attack Perez down into turn 1. Perez needs to watch his back. We outperform him now, or if Gasly outperforms him as well. Gasly could be the one that gets that promotion. So we're going to now try and get Ricciardo, and a huge dive actually trying to get Hamilton as well. down the inside, but Hamilton is still a song, so we're tucking behind Hamilton, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo though still. So we're up to 8th, a good start for us. Ricciardo down to 9th, Perez down to 10th. As I'm watching Vettel versus Verstappen, two former Red Bull drivers going toe to toe. And there might have been a little bit of contact there, but Vettel isn't going to give up there. You know, the Ferrari might be slower than the Alpine, but you know, it can play to certain strengths. As we'll see what the Ferrari strengths are, whether, you know, R&D improvements as well. As there is Perez past Ricciardo as well. Can Gasly get past Ricciardo as well? Perez, that's a puff of smoke, and that's Perez out of the race with an engine failure. Definitely don't want too much of that. So we're now all over the back of Hamilton as well. You know, the Mercedes are only slightly faster than the AlphaTauri on the R&G tree. We've got Vettel and Verstappen still ahead, as Charles Leclerc jumped Norris on the line and leads this race for Red Bull on his debut for Red Bull. Then it's Norris and Sainz in second and third, as Russell is having a go at Max Verstappen at the final corner. And is that going to work out? No. Russell decides to give Verstappen room, and that's going to allow Hamilton to attack Russell. We're going to take the racing line here. Can we get in front of Russell as well? Mercedes, as I say, looks like this is a good track for them, in terms of maybe they've got good aero. We'll have a look at the end after the race at each department, see where everyone is as well. We've got Ricciardo and Gasly still. We're going to go round the outside of Russell at turn 4, and it's going to be a lovely move, which turns the inside and turns the outside and then turns the inside. Hamilton's going to get past Verstappen here, and that's a nice move around the outside. Don't know if Russell got a little bit of damage with this fighting of Max Verstappen, but nevertheless it's a nice overtake in the end. And now we're looking on Verstappen, who probably definitely does have some damage from his fights with Vettel, otherwise he wouldn't be that far back, I don't think. As well, so Verstappen's been in the wall. We have made a mistake on the curb, and that's going to allow Russell to have a go back at us. We're going to squeeze Russell to the inside now, and kind of cross or cut him off to train P7 just for now. But Verstappen is looking slow. He definitely has damage of some sort as well. So you know, we shrugged off Russell, and now we've got DRS. Verstappen has lost DRS, so it's a sitting duck down this main straight, and we're able to breeze past the Dutchman and up to P6. I don't know if Vettel's got damage as well, because, you know, he's going slowly. Sainz is a lot further up the road. The top 3 have run away with this race. As watching, there goes wide Verstappen, and Russell goes through with DRS as well, and now Hamilton is having a go at from one of his former rivals to the other. He goes to overtake Vettel, and he doesn't actually get the overtake there, because he shows the inside of turn 3. And look at this from Latifi in the other Alpine, just showing what Alpine have to offer. He's going for a double overtake on Ricciardo and Gasly with DRS. So a great move by the Canadian there, as eventually we're going to see Hamilton get past Vettel as he goes side by side down the hill, and Hamilton is finally through. I wonder if Vettel's got front wing damage. We've got high tyre wear, so tyre wear is definitely something we'll have to have a look at as well. I don't think it was one of the upgrades we lost on the Sashi side, but nevertheless it was something we'll have a look at as we're going to come into the pits then at the end of lap number 6 for a set of medium compound tyres. The likes of Latifi and Gasly and Albon will all continue on in that bit of train that's been held up by Vettel and Verstappen, who I think have both got damage. 2.4 second stop, that's good. Sainz and Hamilton out in front of us. So can we can we at least try and keep with Hamilton? I think Mercedes got a little bit more on us at this track, and that just shows Hamilton start to run away. There is Sebastian Vettel. He hasn't replaced his front wing, neither has Verstappen, and they're paying the price. So don't know what's going on there with the game, why they haven't decided to replace the front wing, where it's clearly affecting their lap times. They'd be able to go a lot faster if they replace the front wing as well. But you can see there a big chunk missing from the side of Vettel. Not slightly realistic, because of course we all saw at Silverstone, if you recall, Leclerc missing that M plane. He did well. But we've been caught by George Russell. This is a very good track for Mercedes. He tries to go around the outside. This is lap 13 now. And you can see how much faster we are than Vettel and Verstappen. He's just slowing down the likes of Ricciardo and Gasly. Frustrating for them. But we're hopefully going to come through for P5 nevertheless, as well as we're weaving all over the place to try and break the slipstream to Russell. He was coming back at us in this race. We jumped to lap 14, wide at the hairpin there at turn 10, and that's going to allow Russell a great move with DRS down to the end of the DRS zone at turn 11. But we've able to hold the position, but we've on the curb, we've gone wide, we've gone deep into the corner, and there goes Russell. Surely he's going to, we're off the racing line there. We're going to keep on nosing here at the final corner and retain P5 somehow. Russell decided to, in the end, to lift off through the corner and yield the position to myself. As well, here's a replay what happened. We were defending the inside, but then what happened here is we just drifted wide, and the curb unsettled the car, made it wide, and then Russell comes through. He does the switch back on us to get the racing line and takes the position, but then he leaves the outside clear, yields the outside, and then we're able to squeeze him off and retain P5 and up to the line. There we go, P5 it is. For AlphaTauri, I'll definitely take that. Obviously still trying to find that perfect AI balance. As you'll see, comes a bit worse with the AI. Trying to find the AI balance, just to show how inconsistent they are in Thursday's Jeddah video as well. But it's a double point score. Gasly P10. He's only, the pace difference wasn't too much, and I think if Gasly hadn't been stuck behind the likes of Vettel and Verstappen, I reckon he could have got a few more positions there, potentially in front of Ricciardo. But that is just unfortunate for Gasly. He does pick up his first point of the season though. Latifi missed out. I think he had a horrible stop, which is why he finished behind Zhou Guanyu and Gasly in the end. As well, and Perez will be bitterly disappointed with no points in the first round of the season. So, especially with only 16 races, but it's very tight in the top of the top 4 teams, separated by 5 points in the constructors as well. Just to show you where every team is in terms of R&D. AlphaTauri, ourselves, with 4th bottom in terms of aero, so aero will be the priority. You see Alpine also have terrible aeros. Maybe that's why Verstappen and Latifi weren't able to perform as good as they did. But they got a better chassis. We've got the 4th best chassis. McLaren have the best overall. Mercedes 3rd bottom, so not great for them. As well, you can see how close it is. It's going to be definitely track specific as well. Engine wise as well, Alpine have the fastest engine, so it's a little bit surprising they didn't do so well. They haven't got that balance that they want. They need the aero to go with that fastest engine overall. Durability, just not that we really care, but we've got the 3rd worst unreliable car on the grid. Not that it really matters. We'll look to perhaps in these early days, the main focus is to keep upgrading on those 3 fronts, particularly aero where the car is worse. Maybe look at engine as well. So yes, P5. As I say, I'll definitely be looking at the AI from track to track. because they are very inconsistent on this year's game between the track to track and also from qualifying to the race. It's just unbelievable how much fluctuation there is as well. So that's frustrating and something I need to personally work on to find that right balance. So yes, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe channel, and you see plenty more F1 22 driver career mode videos with AlphaTauri. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.